Congrats, you found the Amalgam deferred revenue template. This template's actually based off of work I used to do when I ran an outsourced accounting business. I think it's a pretty clean schedule and something that can be edited pretty easily for your needs. So it's just got a few tabs. I'll walk through them for you, and then you can take the schedule and use it as you'd like. So cover page here, just a few little instructions. If you don't have a video, you can kind of follow through that way. I outline my dates, just looking at the first quarter's worth of entries here, and I built in a little check that we can come back to in a minute or so. But first order of business is really gathering our data. In this instance, the scenario is sort of one where a client or a business is sending its invoices out through QuickBooks. But those haven't been amortized based on the life of their contract. So those are here. This data pull can be from anywhere. It could be manual if you just have a client giving you a manual set of data. It can also be from Stripe or some other system that we're connected to here at Amalgam. So I've put in my dates. I've run and downloaded the data through Amalgam, and then you can see it outlined here. Now our work, right, we've got just these total invoice amounts to the right. Now our work is really converting that to outline it based on the schedule of the contracts themselves. So my revenue schedule tab here really just outlines that. So relatively straightforward. The green cells is really just pulling from that invoices tab. So you see the client, it's linked to the invoices tab. If I do a control left bracket, it'll bring me right over there. I've got additional lines here that if I need them or there's additional growth, you can do that and really just add rows and copy down. Pretty simple. So I've got the invoice number to track. I've got the line amount, which is how much that invoice was. I've got the invoice date. The assumption here I'm just making is that I've got an invoice month, and then the start date of a contract would be the first day after the invoice would have been sent, or the additional month. Obviously, you can change that formula to whatever you want. And then the end date of the contract is really based off the number of months. So I've got some filters here that says basically 2 of our clients are 6-month contracts, but everyone else is a 12-month contract. Again, this is something you can edit and you can formalize or make into something more specific. And then the formulas here, which I think are clever, go ahead and amortize that contract based on its life. So the first one here for Hunt is 12 months. The second one's Vargas. They both start in the month of February. You can see how they go 6 months versus 12 months. I also have the formula built out in such a way that if you started in the middle of a month, that would account for it. So, if this start date was actually 2/20/2024, the formula would adjust accordingly. So you can see that there as well. So here's our amortization, got our revenue based on the contract life. The next tab here is just really loading up that journal entry data. So I've got it pretty simple, assuming that the invoices were sent and sort of being booked to revenue as when they are. So I'm pulling it out of revenue, I'm moving it to deferred revenue, and then making another journal entry to capture the actual recognized revenue. So the $82,000 in March, I've got it over here. If I look, here's the $82,000 captured in March. So those are journal entries. You obviously can function this however you want. If you want a journal entry for every invoice, you can certainly do that. You're sort of unlimited in terms of Amalgam, but you've got that data there. And then lastly, I just have my check to the balance sheet. So I just pulled in the balance sheet for reference, and I have my cover tab here, which is looking up against the revenue schedule. I've got a little bit of a check in terms of what are my new invoices, what are my recognizing, and then what's my check to the balance sheet. So I'm actually checking these amounts against deferred revenue, and that is tying out as 0. And I also have it summarized on the front. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple schedule here, but you can feel free to edit it as you need, and has a lot of different uses across different industries.